strange enemy mine. Might I induce you to a change of heart?
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful involuntary friendship.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all of that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day we earn that subscription. But let's get into today's topic, X-Men 97, episodes 1 and 2 review, coming at you. Let's get into it. Whatever that was. Alright, so I'm going to do both episodes review in this particular video, and then I'm going to do the weekly reviews as they come out. It's a 10-episode season, and episode 1 was entitled To Me, My X-Men, and episode 2 is entitled Mutant Liberation Begins. To Me, My X-Men, if you're ever curious about why you may hear that phrase a lot by the X-Men leaders, that's kind of something that Xavier started, and it's kind of like the equivalent of, basically saying Avengers Assemble, right? And deal with me a little bit. I'm still dealing with some head and chest congestion here. Can't shake it for the last couple weeks. That's why I've been a little limited on videos as of late. But to me, my X-Men is kind of like saying Avengers Assemble for the X-Men. Whatever, leader, whether it be Storm, Jean, Xavier, whatever, they usually would be like, to me, my X-Men. And the particular roster that we're dealing with for this season is Cyclops, Jean, Beast, Gambit, Rogue, Wolverine, Jubilee, Morph, Magneto, and Bishop. And the first couple of enemies that they were dealing with were the Friends of Humanity and Bolivar Trask and Peter Henry Gyrick. Where we pick up in the beginning of this season is that Peter Gyrick had assassinated Charles Xavier, and that led to Magneto trying to lead a mutant rebellion, which failed. And I guess the X-Men had started relations with the UN through Valerie Cooper. That in this world, Valerie Cooper and Xavier were like close, and kind of in the comics, but not like how they were trying to make it in this episode. And so Xavier, the X-Men, via Cyclops trying to lead the team, goes through the government liaison, Val Cooper, and they go through, they're given missions to try to, show better relations between mutants and humans. At the moment, more people are accepting of mutants, but I'm sure there's something that's going to happen that's going to turn the sentiment again for everyone against them. We also see like guest stars like Callisto and the Morlocks in these first 2 episodes. But in the first episode, we see Robert DaCosta, and I think it's his first appearance in this series, in which the Friends of Humanity capture him And being his father is like a multi-billionaire, something to that degree, in Brazil, I think. But like his father's like a global businessman, and he initially thought that he was getting kidnapped for like ransom or whatever, but they knew that he was a mutant, and they had put the inhibitor collar on him and stuff, and Cyclops and the rest of the X-Men came and saved him. This is where they learned that the Friends of Humanity are now using Sentinel technology in order to enhance their weapons and these sort of things. And the crux is trying to find out how they're getting Sentinel technology when supposedly all the Sentinels were destroyed, along with the Master Mold that was helping make the Sentinels. We find out through a visit with Henry Peter Gyrick that Bolivar Trask had made or is in the process of making another Master Mold and or more Sentinels, and the X-Men go and take out that facility, and Bolivar Trask is taken in. And that's kind of where we leave near the end of episode 1, and then we kind of leave the cliffhanger of Magneto showing up and showing that the last will and testament of Charles Francis Xavier was that Magneto was to basically inherit all of Xavier's properties, monies, and all that stuff, and lead the and maintain the X-Men team, basically. Kind of trying to continue to bring Magneto in on their side even after death, to try to show Magneto that there's still a way. Even in my death at the hands of humans, mutants should still feel like they can live with humans together, as opposed to Magneto always believing that the mutant should be the dominant species over the humans, because humans don't really can show that they're tolerant of others that are different than them. You know, they're not going based on the content of their characters, so to speak. And then we basically pick up with episode 2, where Val Cooper comes and wants to take Magneto in for a trial. Magneto agrees, but is aware that this is going to be more of a sham trial in his mind than anything else, but he's promised a fair trial. So, one of the big things I forgot to mention that is going on with this team is that Jean Grey is pregnant. And in this second episode, she winds up giving birth to the baby that her and Scott are having. When Magneto's trial begins, most of the X-Men are there to make sure that everything goes smoothly, because Cyclops is very not trusting of Magneto at all. And he's also dealing with his own shortcomings, or his perceived shortcomings as leader of the X-Men. And he's taken Magneto's intrusion as Xavier not trusting Scott fully to lead the X-Men and be in charge. So Scott is dealing with a lot of internal conflict on whether he's worthy enough to be at the top, the head of the table, so to speak. And this episode was very, it was very deep, because one of the main people from the Friends of Humanity in this episode becomes the character Executioner, and his goal is to assassinate Magneto during the trial, or what we learn is to take Magneto out. We'll find out what that means in a few moments. So him and some other protesters make their way to where Magneto's trial is, and they're able to enter the building and cause a disruption and distractions. And the X-Men team try to help the police officers and everything to maintain control as Storm and Magneto, as Storm stays to watch over Magneto. When Executioner and the rest of the Friends of Humanity make their way to the courtroom, Executioner fires his shot at Magneto, but Storm gets in the way. And what we find out is that this gun is to help inhibit the powers of Magneto, or is now going to prohibit the powers of Storm, leaving Storm powerless. And Magneto decides to take the judges and the executioner out to the orbit of space and kind of let them know, like, listen, before I would have just crushed all of you and not even given it, went back to my corned beef sandwich, right? But I'm trying to live through Xavier's teachings, and I'm trying to give this a chance. As you see, I can clearly do whatever it is I want to do to you guys right now, right? But I'm not. We're gonna go back to Earth. You're gonna leave me the hell alone. You're gonna leave the X-Men alone, and you're gonna let me prove that I'm here now for humanity, or for a combined goal for both of our futures. And that's exactly what happens. The UN gives full pardon to Magneto, and everything. Storm winds up leaving because she finds out that her powers are permanently gone, and she decides to leave in the middle of the night, leaving a note. In this episode, also, Jean Grey gives birth to Nathaniel Charles Summers, aka Baby Cable. And Wolverine, who had stayed behind at the X Mansion, brought her to the hospital. Rogue had to absorb the doctor's knowledge on how to deliver a baby because he wasn't going to deliver a mutie baby. So I like how, it shows the racisms, it shows the isms that would really be happening in today's world if there was mutants involved, and that happened to real groups of people throughout the world, no matter what continent you go on. Asia, North America, South America, Australia, Europe, all these countries have showed superiority over others at some form or fashion throughout the thousands of years. So this is a very real concept that can happen in today's world if there were supers, so to speak. And then finally, the cliffhanger for this episode was Jean Grey supposedly at the front door looking for the X-Men for help, and then everyone looks over to her, who we thought was Jean Grey, and that's where the episode ends. My theory is, or the general theory, is that it's Madeline Pryor who gave birth to the baby, and we may very well see Sinister and a possible Inferno storyline from in this season, which I hope we do, because the Inferno storyline was amazing. I love it. Robert DaCosta Sunspot did leave at the end of episode 1, but with the knowledge of knowing that he can come back anytime he wants, him and Jubilee seem to share like a little possible flirtatious relationship, because they're both around the same age in this series. And then with Cannonball being introduced in one of the prior season years ago, we might get a New Mutants maybe, or a Generation X story, or team, or whatever. But I love how the animation looks more polished, but kind of looks like the old school show. There's some new character designs, like Storm having a mohawk. Um, Rogue has more detailed hair and stuff like that. But they took away that cake in the back, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think the animation is looking really great. Way better than the original series because they didn't really have the budget. So, and I think that this has stayed true to the feel of the original series while adding modern and newer techniques to help improve the storytelling through the animation, the polished animation. I think that the writing has been great so far, and I hope that we can get a couple more seasons of this. I would love to see more of this. I think there's going to be another season after this. Shoot, give me 3 more seasons, right? I think this is one of the better Marvel things that have been put out as of late, and I hope that the trend continues to show Marvel that patience and long-term storytelling will always outweigh anything else. Good storytelling, good solid storytelling is going to outweigh everything else that you're trying to do. That's my opinions. You let me know what you think below of X-Men 97. And until next time, peace, Snookums.